Hallo, liebe Freundinnen und Freunde der analogen Unterhaltung. Willkommen zurück im Berlin Con Studio 2022. Wir sind immer noch da und wir haben Eerie Idle Games da. Ihr habt sie gerade schon mal gesehen oder habt das andere Video gesehen. Und der liebe Andrew ist hier, einer der Grafikdesigner ist für Old King's Crown. Und ich weiß nichts über das Spiel und ich will ihn jetzt ausfragen. So I don't know anything about the game,
okay,
and you're the guy telling me what it's about.
Sure, no problem, no problem. So this is actually our first game. So we're called Eerie Idle Games. We're based in Edinburgh, in Scotland. So we've been working on this game for probably about 5 years now, but really started ramping up in the past few years. So the premise of the game is the old king has gone missing under mysterious circumstances, and the four heirs are his children. They're now fighting for control of the crown and this empty kingdom. And so that's who you'll be playing.
So we are one of the heirs.
That's exactly
fighting
right.
for
exactly right. Yeah. Yes.
So every other one of my brothers and sisters are.
That's right. Yes. Right. Yes.
Good. So I think there's some conflict coming.
It is a conflict game. Yes, absolutely.
I do see we do have player boards. I just show them because they're off camera. They seem to be modular.
That's exactly right. So these are one-use abilities. Once you've used them, you can flip them over. When you flip them all over, it makes a little pattern on the back.
It makes a little pattern.
Yeah, it's like a little jigsaw.
Ooh, nice. Da bin ich schon wieder. Alles, was ihr hier seht, all you see is prototype.
That's right.
This is the first game they will be publishing at one stage. When will you be thinking it will be out?
It'll be coming to Kickstarter later this year. We haven't settled in any dates yet, but sometime in 2023 will hopefully be on people's tables.
Okay, so Ende des Jahres auf jeden Fall ein Kickstarter, den wir hier haben können. Wir kämpfen um den Thron unseres verstorbenen oder sterbenden Vaters. Und what is the game about?
Okay, so what you're going to be doing on your turn is you're going to be drawing from this small deck of cards. Everyone has similar decks of cards. So yeah, you'd have your deck set up here, and on your turn, you're going to actually be taking this 10 card. This represents you. This is your heir. This is you in the game. This card actually comes back to your hand all the time, so you always have access to it. You're going to be drawing 5 cards from your deck. And then what you're going to be doing is placing 3 of them into these lanes here, face down. And everyone will do this simultaneously. So there's no real downtime in the game whatsoever. Everyone's playing simultaneously.
So I choose 3 cards and put them down, and everyone puts them down, and then we have a result.
Exactly right. And you'll notice that the cards have a value and also a trait. So the value usually means the higher card is going to win. However, exactly, there's always a but. The traits dictate how the cards interact with each other. So for example, we have an agent card here. This card is 11, very powerful. However, it gets knocked out by a shield, which is the lowest card in the game and also the most numerous card. So this is very powerful, but very vulnerable.
Yeah.
So it's often about guessing what your opponent might play and trying to counteract that while keeping trying to outwit what your opponent is doing.
So I'm cycling through my deck as well, I think.
Exactly
so
right.
I can assume if he hasn't played an 11, he might be doing
exactly right.
Okay.
Exactly right. And so when you resolve a location, when you win, so let's say, for example, we were to resolve this, what would happen here is this 11 card would get knocked out of the game by this 2, and then we'd resolve the next highest card. So in this case, it would be our heir for the nobility would actually win this.
Okay.
When that happens, they can claim either of these 2 locations to win. Now we're trying to gain, in a 4-player game, we'd be trying to gain 15 influence to win the game.
Okay.
And that's what these locations allow us to do. So in this case, the player could choose either the castle or the wilderness, but not both. What they would do is they would gain 1 influence, and then they also can resolve the ability written on the location. So in this case, they could, if they chose the wilderness, it says they may remove or move a card from their hand or a card they played up to this site of power. And that's going to allow them to gain the 12 card, which is the best card in the game. So if you can get that out early before anyone else, you have a really big advantage.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Then the question is, where do I record the influence? Is the influence put on the site?
So you just put the influence in front of you. So everyone would take influence when you gain these. So, for example, we use these to represent 5. These are just 1s.
So these are in front of my board.
Exactly, and they just sit in front of your board. Exactly right. Yeah.
Then I see we do have hand size increasements, and we can.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Things that we can do. So I have 2 more options.
Exactly. So this is a really interesting part of our game. We really focus on the deck and hand management of the game. So hand size is really important. We call it attrition. And what happens is if you ever run out of cards, so if you ever can't draw from your draw pile, you shuffle your discard pile and make a new one. But every time that happens, your hand size drops down by 1. So you're going to have less cards to choose from, less options to be able to resolve these effects. However, you can mitigate that using the shrine and the necropolis. So you may want to focus on trying to win these locations to allow you to take the cards you played that turn and put them at the bottom of the draw pile.
So there's deck manipulation.
Exactly, exactly.
So you don't get that much influence because these gain you more, but here you do have the point where you're running out. I also see we have asymmetrical powers because this one has a hand size of 6. So there will be different abilities down there.
That's exactly right. So these are the uprising. They represent sort of the general populace, the uprising of all of the people. And so they represented that by having more cards and more abilities to draw from them.
How long does the game take? Usually if you play with 3 or 4 players?
Well, because it's all simultaneous play, generally a 2-player game and a 4-player game doesn't take much difference in terms of time. So we find it usually between 45 minutes to 90 minutes, depending on the experience level of players. But a really experienced group could play it very quickly.
So the major points are hit management, deck management, area control?
We call it area control. It's
area
in
control,
a round, exactly.
In the round, because it's more...
Yeah, and then you're bidding for locations.
It's more like bidding,
Yeah, and we have a bluffing mechanic in the game as well, where we use these herald tokens. You place these before you play any cards. And this is like your claim that you want to try and win somewhere. So you might be really confident that you want to, say, claim the castle here. So you might slam down your herald token. And if you do win, you gain yourself an additional influence.
However, if I don't?
Well, nothing happens if you don't, but you can use it to misdirect your opponents. So what you might do instead is you might say, I really want to win in the battlefield here.
And then don't play anything in the battlefield.
Exactly.
Because someone else plays higher.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But you've left all your good cards at the top, and you've outwitted your opponent.
Yeah, there's a bit of strategy in there. And,
Definitely.
And there's a lot of abilities on the cards and things, so you can manipulate everything. And the abilities are only one-time use?
They're one use, exactly. Exactly.
And you said the lead artists make all of these gorgeous things, because if you look closer, every card has a different art style.
Yeah, so in the final game, every single card is going to be unique.
Auch, exactly. So
we have 78 cards, all with unique artwork for our final game. What you're seeing here is certainly a prototype. We've updated things like the UI. We've introduced a keyword system, which makes the information just a little bit easier to parse and understand. But we think it's playing really, really well at the moment, and just want to make it as accessible as possible to people.
Yeah, very nice. I do like the size of the cards.
Yeah.
And the art itself. And actually, I don't know how all the interaction will be working out, but it's interesting and it draws an attention to me at least.
Great.
And if you don't have anything to add, William?
No, just keep an eye on the Kickstarter page. We've got a pre-launch page available. All our information is available at theoldkingscrown.com.
Ja, und wenn ihr noch Sachen habt, können wir auch ein Auge drauf werfen. Ansonsten ist ein Kickstarter, der kommt. Ich werde da auch ein Auge drauf werfen. Ich habe ja auch das eine oder andere Format, also sonntags immer, wo ich über Kickstarter rede. Seid auch gerne herzlich eingeladen. Ansonsten freuen wir uns schon mal, was hier so alles geht. Ich sage danke fürs Zuschauen. Thanks for being here, William. Thanks for showing this off, and all the best of luck
to
you. And then
Thank you.
Bis dann. Ciao.